Amadlozi yakhuluma nawe, idlozi liyavuma. Okay. Thokozani Dumetlang Lisedi. Hello everyone and welcome to the one-on-one sessions with Gogo Musore, and I'm your host, Gogo Am. Giving you guys tips, lessons, and teachings on everything spirituality. Okay. So first of all, I want to start off this video by wishing you guys a very, very happy festive season. Hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys are taking good care of yourselves, and I hope you guys are enjoying it to the fullest, because we only live once, and one thing that I would advise a person is to enjoy your life while you're still living it to the fullest. Okay. So yeah. That's my 2 cents for now. My New Year's speech is obviously gonna come on the 31st of December, where I'm gonna be all motivational and everything. But for now, we got to move to our video for the day. So today we're gonna be talking about spiritual dark entities and creatures in the African spiritual belief. Okay, so this is what I'm just gonna doing a bit of summary on all the creatures that I have learned of in my time, even though with some I don't really have that major deep knowledge. Some I do have a major knowledge, some I have encountered, some I have not encountered. So if you feel like there may be something that I missed out on, a certain entity or creature, please let me know in the comment section. I'm sure everyone else will be more than happy to hear about it, and so will I. I'll be more than excited to hear more about most of these creatures that are known in the African spirituality. As always, I have my notes here just so I don't forget anything that I'm gonna talk about. Okay, so starting off with the video, the first entity that I'm gonna speak about is tokoloshi. Okay, so this is something that I've already spoken about. I even made a long video on it, going into details about this creature, right? But right now, it is the number one creature that I'm going to start with here with today's summary, mainly because it is the one that almost every single person knows about. And the reason why most of us know about it, because a lot of people that practice witchcraft and practice dark magic, they tend to use this entity a lot. Okay, so tokoloshi is a dwarf-like evil spirit. Okay, it's a dwarf-like evil spirit. It's very tiny. It looks like a toddler in a sense, a very deformed toddler. And one thing about it is that most people will actually say that it is a water spirit of a sense, meaning what? Yes, there are things that are used to create it, but also there's certain waters that are used in order to make it the way that it is, which is kind of, whew, guys. And this thing is conjured up for evil and malicious things. When they conjure something up is when they actually create it. So it is created by people who want to do malicious and evil things to other people. This is whereby we find people walking around with tokoloshis and whatnot. And whereas when it's walking with you as a person, you just see your life just being stuck in a sense. Your life will just be stuck. A lot of bad things will be happening to you. You'll just be attracting negative things all the way through. So that's the thing about it. It is made for malicious reasons only. There is never a tokoloshi that is made for good reasons. If someone tells you that, they are definitely lying. Ne? Number 2, it can attach itself to a person, causing life problems and inability to progress. Exactly what I said. Whenever it is created, it needs to be attached to a person, because if the person who creates it doesn't attach it to a person, then that creature will end up disturbing and affecting and attacking the very same person who created it. Like, why would you actually do something that can actually harm you at the end of the day? But it's cool. You guys have your reasons. I'm not gonna judge. Okay, I'm judging deep down inside, but let's move on. Okay, so it is attached to a person to cause a lot of problems in their lives. And one of the other things that it's used for is to cause financial difficulties and issues, because there is a saying that whenever you're attached with a tokoloshi, what this tokoloshi does is that it comes, takes your money and leaves it. However, I have not proven that as of yet. All I do know is that it will bring darkness and a lot of bad things in your life. And whereas a lot of people, and when I'm talking about sitino is whereby I'm talking about people not liking you for no reason whatsoever. You just find yourself being hated for no reason, because you're walking around with the energy of this thing, because it's attached to you. And people tend to feel like, okay, you're the one with the bad vibe, you're the one with the bad aura, the bad energy. But that is mostly not the case. The case is that you are attached with an entity that brings along bad things into your life, and hinders your progress, affects your progress in your life, you'll find yourself stuck in one place for a very, very long time. Number 3, it is known as spiritual sexual relationship with its victims. Now, like I said in my previous video, if you guys want more details on it, there is a video I posted before about the tokoloshi in details. But another thing about it is that it will have a sexual relationship with the people that it is attached to. This is whereby people will see themselves having intimate dreams with a person. It could be someone that you know, it could be someone that you don't know, it could be a celebrity, a friend, a family member, or just a stranger altogether. And some people can actually see themselves being intimate with the creature itself in their dreams. Okay, so what it does is that it becomes intimate with a person, meaning it becomes a spiritual partner, a negative spiritual partner. And once it does that to you, then that is whereby relationships, marriage, and all those lovey-dovey things tend to not work for you. You'll be here saying Mujolo is a pandemic, but only because you have this entity claiming that you belong to it. And whenever you're in a relationship, you just don't want anything to do with the particular person. And one thing I'm going to emphasize on is that, guys, you need to be very careful about who you are in relationships with, who you are intimate with, because you can end up attracting this entity by just being with someone who already has one of their own, or being with someone who is in a lot of darkness, or having multiple partners can also affect you and cause this thing to come to you. Hence, that is why even in polygamous relationships, marriages, traditionally, how I know it's done, don't judge me, it's how I know it's done. There's a certain process, a traditional process that is done, inviting the people, like not really inviting them, but introducing them to their ancestors and making sure that there won't be any negative energies or entities that will enter the relationship, because of the fact that it will be one person in a relationship with multiple people at that same time. Okay. Number 4, other people use it to steal the wealth of others. I talked about that. And yes, I did my research, even though it was the first time I actually went in depth with it, because for me it's just that thing. Whenever tokoloshi is attached to a person, it appears as though it's just hindering their progress, but it can be used to steal a person's wealth. And number 5, it causes illnesses and death to the victim. So when you are attached to a tokoloshi, so what happens is that in the beginning stage, in the early stages, that's where you'll start having these dreams whereby you're intimate with it, whereby you are in love with it in your dreams and whatnot. And they just started that, and as time goes on, that is where all the signs and symptoms start going on. That is whereby your life gets blocked, you start having relationship problems and whatnot. And over time, remember that this entity, it grows attached to a person, so as time goes on and you grow older as a person attached to this thing, you start getting sick. This is whereby you start having a lot of illnesses that don't make sense. Like one minute you go to the doctor, they tell you have high blood pressure. The next minute you go to the doctor, they're telling you have a heart condition. So many diseases that actually just come to a person. And I remember when I was initiating, there was a gentleman who came. And the thing about him is that he had been attached with the tokoloshi for a very long time. So that entity had spent, it's been on him for a very long time, and he was very thin. His skin was literally peeling off. You literally think, okay, this person has one of those crazy diseases that are lab manufactured and whatnot, but only to find out, no, this person is attached to a tokoloshi. And even removing that thing at that very same moment, given the fact, the condition that this man was in, because you'd literally feel like he's on the brink of passing away. That is how bad it was. It was a very difficult process altogether, even though, okay, he's cool now, but this is just me trying to explain what it does. Cause illnesses that are just crazy, and over time it will kill the particular person that it's attached to. That is just how it goes, because at the end of the day, whenever they send an entity to you, the end result needs to be you passing away. Yes, in the meantime, they will use it to steal your wealth, to block your things, to just see you suffering, because apparently that's what people like these days. So yeah, that's all I can say. But at the end of the day, it will cause death to you. Okay. Number 2, divatana. Divatana in English, I just like translating it as creatures of the night, mainly because these are creatures, normal creatures like cats, snakes, monkeys. Okay, South African people love monkeys. That's one thing I've noticed. Né? No judgments. I am judging deep down inside, but not out loud. No judgments. Né? So these creatures, they are sort of like taken in, and rituals are performed for them to actually, for these people, the people that practice dark magic, to actually use these animals, these creatures. Né? And once they use these creatures, what happens is that during the day it's a normal cat, during the day it's a normal dog and whatnot, but at night it is actually a very crazy, scary entity. Okay, it is a very crazy, scary entity. It looks different. Some can even be used, like, can transform. Because the thing about these things is that once these rituals are done, it's sort of like the spirit of the animal. I don't know if I should call the spirit, but the soul or the inner being of the animal is taken out and is replaced with a different dark entity. And during the day it will be the normal animal that we see. It will look like it, but obviously it won't be it. But at night, that's where it morphs and transforms into the creature that it actually is. This is whereby earlier in my initiation, okay, before I initiated actually, I used to have a lot of weird dreams because, my family, we do not really practice traditional things and whatnot. So I'd usually have a dream of a normal cat, and this cat will actually come into the yard, right? And when it's in the yard, it will actually transform and turn into this really huge animal. Like, it looked like a bear, but it had like 4 hands, 4 arms and everything. So it was like really creepy in so many ways, and it would literally chase me around the house in every single one of those dreams. And I was like, okay, I am not sleeping again in the middle of the night. I'm gonna stay up, do my thing, and I'll go to sleep in the morning, which really sucked because I still had to go to school in the morning. Okay, but that's the story of my life. That's the story of my life. Okay, so what I said about these animals is that these are animals that people batwala ka jona, ne? So when people batwala ka something similar to when mutu atwala ka a snake to get wealth, ne? Utwala in an essence is sort of like attaching yourself. Yeah, I'll say attaching yourself. It's sort of like attaching yourself with the animal. But it's a lot different here because it is not attached to the person for warfare. It is only attached to the person to give this person a bit of power, spiritual power, to have this person control this animal so they can actually go and do malicious things and bewitch other people using these particular animals. Number 2, it can be a cat, snake, rat, monkey. I said that. Number 3, most of the times they are shapeshifters. They shapeshift. What I talked about earlier, it's shape-shifting. And that is something that can only be seen with the spiritual eye, with the third eye. All the time when you see it, you will just see a normal animal, you'll just see a normal cat, you'll just see a normal dog. But once you open your third eye and you see it with your spiritual eye, then you will end up seeing the true animal, the true entity that is harbored inside of this creature. Okay, and number 4, they are used to send muti in households and monitor things. Okay, so they will use these things to send muti into your home on a daily basis. You'll find that they're saying, okay, something is dug up at your place. Most of the times they will use this entity to dig those things, to bury those things in your gate and whatnot. It is also one of the things that they use, like, to send muti, meaning the animal will come there, spray muti around, and in the morning when you go outside, you attach yourself to whatever muti that has been sent to the yard by this animal. Okay, and number 3 is whereby it is sent to monitor your things. So this is whereby even a fly can be used for this. That is how creepy this whole thing is. Like, it will get you to a point whereby you don't trust any animal. Like, it's summer right now, flies are everywhere, and you'll be looking at it like, we're not romantic, man, type of shit, but it's not all the case with all animals. But these things are sent to you to monitor your things. This is whereby you'll be in the household planning your things and maybe sharing with your family, like, okay, I want to do this and this and this and that, but I want to keep it to myself so my things can be successful. Bear in mind, your enemies already know what you have planned, because there's already some creature here monitoring every single thing that you are talking about and everything that you are doing. That is the worst part of it. So at the end of the day, they will actually be able to block you. So this is whereby sometimes you're blocked by people that are not even close to you, mainly because of the fact that they already have spies in your house. They already have spies checking out everything that is going on in details in your house. Okay, And number 5, I said they are created using dark magic and their bodies are vessels for an evil entity that they've conjured. I've already talked about that. I say a lot of things in my videos. Okay. Number 3, we have umpu. Okay, so this is a very famous creature, especially in my culture, Kimupedi, okay? So in my culture, this is something that I've always heard about. This is something that I've grown up hearing about, and usually like at night I'll be like, okay, we have to be indoors because we don't want to see this thing, okay? So but what is Mukudne? I said here already, this creature started off as a human who later disappeared or passed away. And mainly the disappearance and the passing away is caused by being taken by witches. This is whereby a person will pass away. I'm going to talk about the passing away part before I can talk about the disappearance part. The person will pass away and we'll all be crying like, okay, this person is gone and whatnot. And it's a very tragic thing. But what these people do is that this person is not really dead. Okay, this person is taken into their layers. Okay, I'm just gonna say their layer. And they are groomed to perform, or rather use their control. Most of these people are controlled because no one would actually be happy to be groomed to be used by witches and whatnot. I don't think anyone, the right man, will like that. So these people are taken, whereas everyone in the family believes that they have passed away. And what happens that usually there's a certain stick that is used to like sort of like morph out the person, like look like the person, so the family will be like, okay, this is so and so, they've passed away, this is their body, they'll bury that body, whereas the real person is actually taken. And it's a very evil thing. It's a very evil thing to do, honestly speaking. But even as them being taken, most of the times they usually prefer to take the soul of the person, the spirit of the person. And usually when they do this is because this person may have a certain amount of power. Understand that we are all gifted in a certain way. Some can open doors, some can close doors, some can give luck and success, some can even give powers to others, or they have a certain amount of power and these people want to take that power. So these tiny things that we are blessed with are one of the things that people will take and say, well, okay, this is why we're taking this person. Or maybe they'll just take it not because you have a spiritual gift or whatnot, or you have a psychic ability of some sort, but they will take you because they just want to use you. They want help in certain things that they are doing and whatnot. So Mpukuri is that kind of person who is killed using witchcrafts, but their true soul and their true spirit is taken by the witches. And secondly, it's when a person disappears. So this person could just be around and we see this person around and whatnot, then all of a sudden this person disappears, only to find out this person was taken by a cult of some sort, a certain witch somewhere, and this person is using this witch is using this particular person for their malicious thing. So it is a very risky and it's a very evil thing for someone to do. So it's pretty much a zombie. This is a zombie. I'll look at this thing yali silo and say, well, okay, it's something similar to it. For those of you guys who are familiar with the series of Lisilo, like in my own perspective, I'm not saying that it is the same thing, but in my own perspective, it pretty much is. Okay, so Mpuguri is said to be very tall, very hairy, long hair and long nails. So what happens is that obviously when you are taken and when you are groomed by these people, you end up changing physically, or rather physically, like people who know you will know, okay, this is so and so, but you over time you morph into this risky looking person. Okay, and most of the people say, well, they are very tall, very hairy, very long hair, long nails, because obviously these people are not taken care of. Like they don't have salons and whatnot, and they can't really look good and all those stuff. Yeah. So, and when encountering this dark spirit, okay, it's a dark spirit in a way because they've already been taken. When encountering this dark spirit, people are said to lose sight of where exactly they are. So this is whereby whenever you encounter this thing, we call it sawe in my language. Moloro, you sort of like lose sight of where you are, where you're going. You are just stuck in sort of like a parallel universe or a matrix of some sort, and you just can't find your way. However, this thing, I would say, I've never heard occurrences of it attacking people. However, it's just used to perform certain deeds by the people that have taken it, but I've never heard about it attacking anybody. However, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this, whether you've encountered or heard a story about it attacking a person, because that is completely new to me, né? So people actually get into a sort of like weird matrix trends type of thing whenever they encounter losing their side of everything. And the problem with that is that some people can actually disappear after seeing it, because this is an entity that is not to be seen. It's very dark, and whenever it comes forth, like, people will actually see it amongst the dark hours of the night, like between in the witching hour, to be exact, like from sort of like 2, 3, 1, 12 a.m. in the morning to like early like 5 a.m. in the morning. That is when this thing is seen most of the times. Okay, so this is whereby you just need to protect yourself and protect your family to avoid anything like this happening to you or having your spirit be taken, because once you are taken, it is very difficult to be brought back. You'll need a very powerful healer, and that is a knowledge that I'd say not a lot of healers have at this point in time in their lives. Okay, because a lot of things have been lost over time in our African history, ne? And number 5, I said it's mostly seen by children and people with a spiritual eye, mostly, but not all the time. Even people without the spiritual eye can see that, but children wanna, it's an obvious thing, because children are very spiritual beings on their own. Children are able to see ghosts, they're able to see spirits without them even trying, because they are still connected with their inner child, they're still connected with the universe, they're still connected with their ancestors as well. So children are prone to see this. So whenever your child acts like they're seeing something creepy, do not just brush it aside. It might be an entity that is being sent into the house, or an entity that is being sent to the child, or just something that you need to be very careful of. Maybe a ghost that is just not in a good mood. Okay. Number 4, we have Amagundwane. Okay, Amagundwane, the term actually means rat. I think it's Zulu. Yeah, it's a Zulu term that means rat. So Amagundwane, yes, it is a couple of rats, but they are not our normal rats. They're pretty much mutated rats, but not the ones that are found in certain parts of South Africa. Okay, so these are rats, rats that bring money into one's account. Okay, so what these things are used for, they're used to bring money to a person, they're used to bring wealth to a person. But guys, like, you can't be taking this easy route to get money without thinking what there is the price to pay for it. Like, it surprises me a lot when people actually come to a healer and say, oh, we're looking for so like unyakotwala, or all those weird, dark, creepy things for money and wealth. So Amagundwane is used for those things, to bring money into a person's account. So what happens is that they are found from certain sangomas. So yes, you can find them from certain sangomas. I'm not gonna judge, I am not saying anything. However, I do not specialize in this, so please, after these videos, please don't contact me asking for Amagundwane, because I do not associate myself with that. Okay. No offense to those that do, but I do not do them personally, né? So they are found from certain sangomas. They guarantee wealth at a price. Like I said, everything comes at a price. Okay, every form of dark magic comes at a price. Okay, if whenever you want to convert yourself into the dark side of things, understand that you're gonna pay the price in the later stage of your life. Okay, so the thing about this is that yes, you will get the wealth, you will get the money, but there will be terms and conditions to the wealth that you're gonna get. You will have to pay a price somewhere, somehow. Maybe you have to sacrifice a person, maybe you have to leave certain things behind, maybe disconnect with certain people in your life. There is a price to all these things. Okay, number 4, people who get this thing can sometimes be tortured and harassed by them. Okay, so these things, whenever people have them, because I'd hear stories of people who actually have these things, who are actually suffering because they are being attacked and harassed by these entities and creatures. Like, where were you going in the first place? I'm sorry, but it's kind of funny that you actually call this thing to yourself, but now it's you're suffering from it and you're crying. Like, you could have just worked like the rest of us just to get the money that you have. Anyways, let me not judge. But what they do is that people that actually get these entities, they are actually harassed by them and attacked by them on all times, like all bases and time in their lives. And some even get molested. And one of these people, and once this person dies, they begin to terrorize the upcoming generation. Okay, so this is whereby some people can actually have be molested by this thing. It could be one of the conditions that come with the entities or the creatures. Amagundwane, you have to have a sexual relationship with it, which is nasty. Now you have to have this sexual relationship with it, and once you die, because this is something you can't really get rid of. Because most people will go and get these things, but when they see, okay, this is too hard, and they have to go back to whoever gave it to them, the person will be like, I can't help you guys, go somewhere else, type of thing. And once you die as a person who actually harbored this thing, actually took these things into your life, what will happen is that your wealth will fall apart. Okay, if you acquired mansions, businesses, a lot of like huge things while you were using this entity, this animal, then know that once this animal once you die, remember it's a spirit, it lives on. Then when your family, your children, the generations to come, they will like live in a certain amount of darkness, whereas this thing will terrorize them. As long as these people are the people from your bloodline, then these things will follow them at all times, and what will happen to them is that they will suffer constantly. This is a generational curse that brings upon poverty and suffering to people because of the decision that one person made because of being greedy at the end of the day. Okay, let me not get emotional about it. And number 5, which is the last one for this first part, is Mam-lambo. Okay, so Mam-lambo is also very similar to Amagundwane, because this is also an animal that a person harvests for wealth and power, in a sense. Okay, so this Mam-lambo is a money making snake. Okay, this is something that is so famous in South Africa. Like everyone actually talks about it all the time. Especially last year, it was trending all over the place. It's a money making snake. It is found in certain rivers by certain sangomas. So the only way to acquire it, from my knowledge, is to actually have a sangoma who has access to these creatures, who has access to this snake. And this person will actually take you to that particular place, or you have to go to their dumba and whatnot, and they will give you the snake and tell you what it is that you need to do to make it happy, apparently. It causes an absolute darkness in the family, because when you have it, you might find that when as a person you have it, then as you have it, you have wealth, you have everything that everyone would actually ever dream of, but your family is suffering. There's so much darkness in the family, in the household. People in your family are just not living the life at all because you're greedy. Number 4, when one takes it, they have to make a yearly sacrifice of a family member to make it happy. Okay, because these are dark entities, and most dark entities are pleased with blood. Okay, they are pleased with blood. So most of the times what happens, even not most of the times, all the times when you have this snake, what you need to do is that you need to sacrifice a person in the family every single year. This is whereby in a specific family, in a specific year, like, okay, not a specific year, a specific month in the family, someone needs to pass away. And the funny thing is that you as a person are the one that chooses. Like, why would you sacrifice your own family member, your own blood, for money? It doesn't make sense, but people still do it at the end of the day. It is known to sexually assault the people it works for. If they are women, and if they are male, they assault their partners. Okay, so this is whereby I've heard so many stories about it. I always laugh my butt off when I actually hear it, because I'm like, no, guy, where were you going to begin with? So what happens is that when you have this entity, this snake, what happens is that, yes, there are certain things that you will do for it and whatnot. However, it wants you to do its things, and there's gonna be a certain room whereby it stays, and you are not, okay, you're the one who's allowed to go there, but everyone else in the family is not allowed, or they will die. Okay, but what happens is that at night it will come and be intimate with you if you're a woman. If you're a man, that is whereby you will need to get someone there to actually be intimate with the snake. So this is whereby we hear stories about people dragging people, and those stories, we've heard about them. I don't even want to go into details because they scare the heavens out of me to actually think of stuff like this actually do happen in this crazy world. But it will have a sexual relationship with the particular person, intimacy with this particular person or this person's partner. And most of the times when you have it, you are not allowed to get married. If you're married, it's fine, and if you have children, you'll know what, okay, this thing will affect the children in the family. It will be intimate with your children at the end of the day, né? And when you are a woman and you encounter yourself with it, or you are intimate with it, then what happens is that you end up being very infertile, because what this thing does is that it affects your ovaries, it affects your womb. This is whereby maybe it's your partner who did it, a man who did it, who is very wealthy and whatnot. But whenever you are with him, what happens is that you sometimes have these abnormal pains in your abdomen, in your lower back, in your womb and whatnot, and later on find out that your womb is damaged. It's because of this entity. But for people who have actually harbored it, because some women just have their own genetic complications, not because when you are having difficulty with having children, it doesn't mean that you literally like was with this thing, but that is pretty much how it works. So it's a very, very dangerous creature. And one thing I'd like to advise people is that before you do it, know the facts. Because one thing that I've noticed is that some healers, especially the ones that actually have these things, will not give you details on them, will not tell you how these things work. And the worst part of it is that at the end of the day, when you get affected by it, when it starts attacking, when it starts making your life a living hell, they'll be like, ask this and I can help you. Okay, they'll be like that, and you'll be there stranded thinking to yourself, what have you done? So get the full details on this thing. I understand that we all want to have a lavish life, we all want to be wealthy and whatnot, but at what price? At what price? At the end of the day, work for the things you want. It's not going to be easy if you don't have connections and whatnot, because we all know that connections get you everywhere in this world. But at least do something for yourself instead of actually like using these entities that will actually affect. Oh, and another thing about the snakes, but this is a general thing about the these money-making dark entities, they will also give you a duration of time where as you're going to leave. Okay, they will also give you a duration of time where as you're going to leave. So meaning what, when you take it, there's a ritual that is done which determines how long you live. And some people, unfortunately, they can live for like 50 years. Some it's like a minimum of 5 years. And okay, for the 5 years they'll be alive, they'll be very wealthy, but they will not fully have peace, because still they will have this thing with them. And once they pass on, the issue with it is like same as Amagundwane, is that these entities will still be attached with people in the family. So if you haven't groomed someone to take over from there onwards, then understand that your children, your children's children, your great-grandchildren's children, they will suffer because of you and your greediness at the end of the day. Anyways, guys, this is it for African entities and creatures, the part 1. I am going to post part 2 next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a bit of enlightenment on some of the animals that we have, or not really animals, entities or creatures that we have in Africa. And yeah, hope you guys have a beautiful one. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a wonderful festive season. Thokozani. Bye bye.